let's say I offered you a check with, a pretty big number on it. Most of you, I think, would probably decline, saying they won't accept it, just out of politeness. But we all know that deep down you'd actually really want it, and you'd already be thinking, what could I get with this? What could I buy? But for those of you who would accept it anyway, I guess it's a good thing because I'm especially talking to you. See, nowadays humanity is desperate for money, and we do anything for any kind of money. And unfortunately, that's because today in the world that we live in, we won't be able to get anything without paying a price. And that price today is nearly always money. But what if that wouldn't have to be the case? Money has been around for a very long time. In fact, no one exactly knows when it was first invented or used. But however, historians believe that as early as 2000 BC, we have been using some form of metal objects for currency. Many people argue that it was a good decision, many people argue that it was not. Me personally, I think it wasn't a bad decision, but we do need currency because I don't think if everything was free, it would turn out so well. All I think is that we're using the money that we have wrong. I mean, bad things happen. Like robberies are the obvious choice. Like this happens all the time just because people are obsessed with money, and people can even murder in those robberies. Then in 2008, a bankruptcy by the Lehman Brothers caused a global recession where the economy dropped significantly. And if you don't know what that was, the Lehman Brothers was an investment banking company. And since a bank can go bankrupt, is money really reliable? Well, speaking of unreliable, there's also Bitcoin. I mean, is it good or is it bad? No one properly knows. But one thing everyone agrees on is that it can make people rich or poor. When you take a drug, you'll end up getting trapped in a cycle that is extremely hard to get out of. And you take the drug and you start feeling great and life is perfect. But then you start crashing and life is miserable. It sucks to be alive. But then your brain starts thinking, wasn't it great when we had that drug? You should take it again. And the cycle repeats. I don't think money is that much different, because you go to the shops and you see something that you really like, and then you're like, I want that. You might not even have that much money to spend, but you buy it anyway. And then for a couple of weeks, maybe months, you're really happy with it. You're proud of what you bought. But then you start to get unhappy with what you have. And then you think, there's this new thing that came out last week. I should get that. And then you start the cycle. This is just the human nature. And unfortunately, some companies, for example, smartphone companies, are taking advantage of this. One year they have the best and newest smartphone, but next year, no, they have something even better. But how much better can a smartphone get in 1 year? In this cycle, you will be trapped spending your money, and a lot of people these days spend money they don't have and end up in debt that they might not even come out of. In today's society, we have to be extremely careful on how we spend money. I'm not saying that we should not spend any money at all. I'm just saying you have to watch how you spend it. A famous quote is, money can't buy happiness. And a famous person that you might know supports this. This is Jim Carrey, and he's saying, I wish everyone could become rich and famous just so they could see that it's not the answer. This person has been successful and obviously has found out that being rich is not the answer and that it won't satisfy him. The way we have to use and spend money depends on the person you are. I personally can't decide that for you. But if you love doing certain things with people you love, all I can say is do them. Don't spend them on things that make you feel happy for a little bit, but choose to do those things that bring you joy for a long period of time and give you memories to remember for forever. I don't think anyone who has lived on this earth will want to be in the final moments of their life and be thinking, I should have done this or I should have done that with these people that I love. See, money has caused some very upsetting things in the past, and if you don't realize it now, it might do so to you in the future, or it already is now. One thing is sure, it will continue unless things change. Money has its benefits, but are they worth the costs? It could just trap you in a cycle that could ruin your life. But just make sure you fill your life with things that matter to you and that bring you joy for longer than just a few days. If we could just do that, maybe our life would feel like it's worth more than money. Thank you.